The melanoma on my face started when I had just lost a pregnancy. I was 3 months pregnant and I was 36 years old. I saw my GP and he said that it was pigmentation of pregnancy and not to worry about it. But then 5 months later, I got pregnant again and I could see this growing. And again, I told him about it, and again he said it was pigmentation of pregnancy. I woke up one morning and it had oozed, my skin had broken and my face was stuck to the pillow. So I realised that he was definitely wrong. I had worried that he was wrong, but this confirmed my belief that this was not just normal pigmentation.
Your flowers are lovely.
When the diagnosis was confirmed that this was melanoma, I felt very frightened. I was really worried that this tumour some cells might pass to the baby, because, as I say, I was 6 months pregnant. They then took quite a wide area of my face and they put a graft, a full thickness graft from my foot onto my face. And then about 6 weeks later, they took away all the lymphatic glands from behind my ear round to under my chin and from my back round to the front of my chest. So I've got a big hole where I should have my sternomastoid muscle because it's gone. I prayed a great deal and persuaded God that I really needed to be here. And I really think if I hadn't managed to have that pregnancy and had that child, I think I would have succumbed to the cancer. I don't think I would have lived. Now I'm chairperson of the Melanoma Action and Support Group Scotland. We aim to liaise with the Scottish Parliament and to impress upon them the need for education, prevention and more research for treatment. I think once you've had a diagnosis of cancer, it's almost as if you don't really trust your body anymore. And your confidence in the things we take for granted about your own body and your own ability is quite shattered. And it takes a long time for that to grow again.
I remember I was 23. I had to stop playing football, and I ended up in a hospital because I had lymphoma cancer. When I first met my doctor after the diagnosis, I told her I trusted her so much that if she thought it was necessary, she could even chop off my arm. First, I had to undergo surgery, where they confirmed the final diagnosis. I had to go through 7 cycles of chemotherapy, that's 15 sessions, which lasted 7 months, and also 35 sessions of radiotherapy. I was in very good physical condition, since I came straight from the football pitch. So I did not have any of the symptoms or problems which chemo usually creates. The first night, when I was completely alone, and I realized I had cancer, I was asking myself why, how, and will I die? That night, the fight between life and death started in me, and I opted for life. I was aware that I wouldn't be able to play football in the near future. I did not play but I dedicated my time to things I could not do while I was training. I went to the seaside, read a lot, and spent time with friends. The biggest change, the simplest but also the most difficult, was to put myself first. I believe that you need to love yourself first to be able to love others. What disturbed me most during the treatment was that I could not talk about the illness because as soon as people heard the word cancer, they ran away. I changed that during the treatment, and I'm changing that now. I am a member of the community of cancer patients and leader of 2 projects, The Wheel of Life and Heads Up. Both projects are about awareness raising, which is also my primary aim and motive to appear in the media and to talk about cancer as being about life and not about death. People should have regular medical checkups and live how they want. I always wanted to have a family. Cancer scared me because chemotherapy can damage certain cells, but mine was still fine, so I had twins, and I'm very happy about that. Before, football was my life. Today it's my job.
My first diagnosis dates back to 1996, when I found a small lump in my breast. In 2004, a second small lump appeared in my other breast. I was shattered and felt very scared. The first time I had breast cancer, I underwent a partial mastectomy, followed by radiotherapy. I took medication and was on hormone therapy for 5 years. The operation took place in Cyprus before the cancer had been diagnosed. Then I went to London for radiotherapy. I was very fortunate to be able to go to London. At that time, the latest radiotherapy equipment was not yet available in Cyprus. When you undergo breast surgery, your whole being is affected. Your femininity, your body. When I had a mastectomy for the second time, I also underwent breast reconstruction, which helped me to feel better psychologically. I think it is very important for us to have these choices. I always used to love swimming. I love swimming and I love the water. It gives me a sense of freedom, particularly after the operations and therapy treatments. Swimming helped me to regain my rhythm. Some other women and I created Europa Donna Cyprus, whose aim is not only to support women and their families, but also to try to enable women in our country to gain all the therapy and diagnosis they are entitled to at European level. My cancer experience allowed me to change my view of life. I see life as a glass half full and never half empty. This has helped me to be a lot more positive and creative and to change my priorities. On a human level, it has enabled me to be fairer to others.
20 years ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. It was tough. My case is quite common, as I had a very high PSA of 26 and a positive rectal ultrasonography. The risk of cancer was very clear. During the surgery, they couldn't confirm this, so it took another 5 years of biopsy. I've had several biopsies over the last 20 years, which have proved that indeed I have cancer, but that I don't need treatment. We know it takes 15 years to die from prostate cancer. After 15 years, I was very careful, and my colleagues convinced me to have radiotherapy. Personally, I still think it was the wrong decision, as I had to endure the side effects of radiotherapy. Of course, the doctor feels he has to heal you, and he believes that all cancers need to be destroyed. Another thing we know is that there's an overdiagnosis level of about 30%. So we find cancers that don't need treatment, but they still get over-treatment in 30% of cases. That's a major issue. Overdiagnosis and over-treatment. The diagnosis of cancer is never nice. For most people, it means they're going to die. That's the big problem. The lack of knowledge. What you imagine is always worse than the reality. The patient has these ideas about what's going to happen to him. But when he's well informed, he knows he can live a normal life. Here in the oncological center, there are 8 patient groups. We want to help those people on every level by improving their knowledge through good communication and by supporting them with their problems. All I know is that I, like the other 3 million men in Europe, will probably not die of prostate cancer, but that I'll feel the effects of it when I'm older. At a certain stage, you say, it's like my age, my rheumatism, my hair loss, my feet. You continue your life, but you don't want to spend it in the urologist's or the doctor's office.
Pamiętam. I remember. I was 5 years old. I had problems with my eye. I went to the doctor with my mum, but the diagnosis was wrong, as they said it was lazy eye syndrome. At the Center for Child Health, they said it was cancer, situated in my optic nerve, and that the operation could deform me, deform my face. The operation wouldn't have been so frightening if it hadn't been done by a doctor from abroad. He came over because he had experience in these kinds of operations. It was too expensive for my mum to stay in London. It cost around £600 per day, and we couldn't afford to do it there. When we sold the house, it was just enough for the surgeon, who came to Poland from abroad. As for my eye, it stopped reacting to light. Since the optic nerve was cut, my pupil no longer responded to light. The right side of my face was swollen after the surgery. I was 11 years old when I had another operation. My mum was really frightened before this one, but I kept telling her nothing would happen. I was wrong because after this operation, I had problems with my memory. They hurt my eye muscles, so my eyelid became droopy. And the brain liquid leaked into my body. My body was in pain, and it took me a long time to become well again. My schoolmates reacted in a very strange way to my new look. They looked at me as if I was strange. They laughed at me, but they were also afraid of me. And the first nicknames appeared. They called me Cyclops, Siki. I was very disappointed with them. I felt more sadness from the lack of understanding of my schoolmates than from my disease. So I got help from my mum and from my close family, from my mum and my sister. They told me that although I'm different, I still am who I am. They kept me strong, and thanks to them, I have a very strong character today. When I was 16, I got pregnant after my first time. And I decided to keep the baby, my little sweetheart, because I couldn't imagine hurting such a small life inside me. In a way, I was lucky, because who knows if I could ever have a child again, or if I'll meet someone who would like to have children with me. I work as a volunteer with children who suffer from diseases, not just cancer. As I know what children can feel and what kind of help they need. I live as I live. I'm optimistic about the world and people. The most important thing is I've met people who treat me very well, who have been with me from the beginning of this illness, and we still see each other now. I have the people I need around me, and I don't need to have a lot of friends. 2 or 3 are enough. The illness I went through gave me a lot of life experience. I look at life from a totally different perspective today. Not at the fun, drugs, or alcohol side of it. I just want to have a family, finish school, and find a good job.
I wish more people would be aware of the dangers of the sun.
Live every second of your life to the fullest.
I wish that no woman ever has to live through this experience alone.
Our only wish is, first treat the person, then fight the cancer.
I wish that children would never have to suffer like I did.